Alright, this is our harmonograph. It is a device which has existed for quite a while, I believe. It uses the motion of pendulums to create beautiful designs on paper. So it's based on this table. You can see the legs there. And there are 3 pendulums built into this particular design, which we got from the internet. 2 of them are pendulums that look pretty much like this. You have a central rod. It goes almost all the way down to the floor, and there's weight at the bottom, which stops the amplitude from decaying too quickly. You also have this design here, which is what allows the pendulum to swing. There are a couple of screws, one on each side, through this block, and the screws are resting in, in these small sockets here, which allow this entire pendulum to swivel back and forth with very, very little friction. This pendulum swings like so, back and forth like this, as you can see. And this pendulum, which is of the same design, swings in the perpendicular direction like this. So that one over there is doing this, and this one is doing that. The third pendulum has a different design. It's a circular pendulum. There's also weight at the bottom. Here there is a large washer. It's supported by screws that are under the table, as you can see. And this block here is resting on that washer via a second pair of screws. Basically what this design allows it to do is the pendulum can swing, its swing has a component in this direction, and it has a component in that direction. So the bottom of the pendulum can trace out ovals and circles and other things of that sort. And you can see the circular pendulum going, and there's all 3 of them going at once. So the top of the circular pendulum supports this platform, which has a piece of paper on it. So the piece of paper is moving in this manner that you see. The tops of each of these other pendulums, the pendulums that are going in straight lines, are supporting nails. These thin nails that are just resting on the tops of the pendulums very lightly, and those are hammered into pieces of pipe. And so those 2 pieces of pipe join up here, is at the center of the device, and they're both supporting a pen, which you can see swinging around. So the pen is moving and the paper is moving, and they're moving in different and rather complicated ways. The pen, or rather this entire rig here, is connected to a string which goes up and through a screw eye here and down to this little block of wood, and there's a nut which allows us to raise and lower, and if I take this nut out, the pen will descend onto the paper, and then a design will begin to be produced. If that doesn't happen.
Hold on.
Well, these are the...
Keep rolling.
Alright, well, these are the people who have helped bring this to you. Dad. This is our friend Chris. Pendulum repair.
Decap the pen. Put this puppy right back on there.
Alright.
It's a little... There it is.
It is this part of the design is a bit finicky because, as I mentioned, the only thing that's supporting these nails on the tops of the pendulums are... The nail is essentially just resting there, so it slips out very easily.
Gentlemen, start your pendulums.
Gentlemen, start your pendulums, indeed. Alright, so we're all going to start swinging our
Circular motion
pendulums.
on this one.
Yep.
Okay.
Put a little more gas on that side, Cole.
Okay.
Go for it. There you go.
Okay, now I'm going to take this string, lower the pen onto the paper, and you can see it started. That noise is just the sound of the pen scraping against the paper, and you see you've got a design there. It'll hopefully become a little more complicated later.
Interesting edge. And now it's reversing on itself.
Yeah, so because the pendulums can become out of sync, the designs will change their character as time goes on, so you get very complicated and interesting figures.
Oh, that's a nice one. Ooh, look at that.
So you
I
can
remember that one from geometry class.
So you can see it slowing down. One of the things that tends to happen, we've noticed, is that the circular pendulum will stop being circular and start swinging in a straight line, sort of in sync with one of the others. So it might be going like this in line with that pendulum, or like this in line with that pendulum. And when that happens, you lose the circular part of the motion, and it becomes less interesting, but...
Or to the point of stationary.
Or to the point of stationary, as is
Like this?
kind of happening now. So the pen point is
So
stationary.
it's got to be the friction from the pen point is transferring energy from the different pendulums to the point where they're in sync.
Right. And that is something that is not completely avoidable, but you can
I
see
didn't expect it.
before it runs down, it does create some interesting patterns, which is, of course, what it's designed to do. Alright. Well, we'll probably have plenty more images of this to post on the blog and other places in the future. Alright then.